Egg that rolled. The egg that rolled. Just an ordinary egg came out of a chicken on an adventure away from the kitchen. Down cobbled road and Shaftesbury's Hovis Hill, it bowled its ovoid body, driven by an inner will. Narrowly avoiding disaster, it crossed the road. This egg was its own master, and had destiny under its thumb, like a prince who came out of a toad. It missed each pram wheel by inches, then evading the horse's hoof. This was a living reminder that life lives on a knife edge if ever we needed proof. And trundling like a lost general in search of his egg army, he seemed self-important to the untrained eye, when what guided his blindness was courage and faith in his life. So there is the irony. It was just that this was a fortunate egg, in that every move he would try came out a sparkling success. This was no shell-shocked guy. His formaldehyde soul grew very cold like Jekyll and Hyde. He was an egg of two minds, brought together in the oxygen of his shell. Albumin and yolk played some practical joke to make him indestructible, meant he could not die, and so on he rolled down the tragic road that was his life. Being an egg that could not crack meant likewise that he could not hatch, so to be spared the ritual humiliation of the chicken on the pecking order, his will told him to leave the kitchen and find another abode to board on. The ocean was his calling from when he was a fetus, and soon he came to the ocean's cusp in a land named Lyme Regis. He purveyed the sea for all it was worth, from atop a cliff top, and there he did perch. But as soon as he had settled down, he found himself in an albatross's town, where busy gulls, guillemots, and puffins were roosting and laying eggs, 10 to the dozen. And by chance, a bird named Harold arrived, and plucked this egg so that he may survive. So that they fled on across ocean swell, well into the evening, and all was going well. Then down he landed on the coast of France, and said to the egg, "You are free, now take your chance." So the egg trundled on, down roads that were familiar. He heard the faint call of accordions, smelt onions, and the sky that was vermilion. Past hawthorn nests of owls, cows don't lay nests. Past hawthorn nests of owls and smiling white cows, he alighted himself upon a hay cart, pulled by an ox. Then he travelled on there with less a wing and more a prayer, until his wanderings brought him to the Alps. Now by this time he had made many friends. There was Alphonse the fox and Bernadette the owl, Stephanie the squirrel and Miriam the mouse. They all were dressed in berets and striped jumpers. And the egg dressed like them too, and they all said, "It suits you." So not out of place did the egg seem now, when he journeyed up the foothills of the Alps with a cow. More the traveller with means, for many things had he seen. I feel like I'm in the Alien now. More the traveller with means, for many things he had seen, and made a small fortune displaying in a circus, where a strong man named Roger de la Fort tried to crack him with his muscles, but all that cracked were the piggy banks of the circus goers he would hustle. So saying farewell to the Ferris wheel, and so long to the ringmaster, Monsieur Deville, he journeyed on to Switzerland's fair climes, and soon found the time to visit the sights and squares of Geneva. One day he stopped by the lake's great fountain, and watched a long time, thinking it as tall as a mountain. And what sprang into his egg's mind was a plan he began to hatch, a dream that one day he might fly. So at the dead of night he took on a gondola to alight amid the luscious lake of the fair town, and boldly going where no egg had gone before, he nestled himself into the sleeping fountain's core, and there he waited until the next morn, when the fountain man turned the water pipes on. Then, to everyone's delight, in the crisp morning light, the egg was shot clean into the stratosphere. Now feeling less earth encumbered, this egg went through the ozone, and around the earth he orbited like an orb. Some clever folk from NASA said, "There goes a UFO, proof that life from another planet has arrived." And much was made by Europe of the flying egg's orbit, and it put to bed many wars. For the people of Earth saw that they were not alone in the universe, so they no longer felt lonely or frightened anymore. Then the egg left the Earth's gravity and was pulled by positivity out to the furthest regions of the solar field, where he settled on Pluto, feeling all was going well. A miracle then occurred. This egg who could not hatch finally did just that, and the first extraterrestrial chicken was born. He went by the name Prince Pluto and spent many a year going to and fro, discovering what else could be explored. Until finally alighting in a cave away from lightning, he found another chicken who was Earth-born. Together they made a family and are living still quite happily, raising many Plutonians abroad. The end.